This right here is the Lava Studio, and basically everything that you need as a guitar player is packed into this modern guitar amplifier, and they just released a massive and important software update for it, so I'm going to take you through that. But first I want to show you a song that I recorded within the MiniDaw on the Lava Studio. If you are completely new to this system, I will of course show you the most important features on the Lava Studio. But first, let's check out what's new with the new software. So earlier you had of course some really good guitar, amp and effect simulation going on in there. Now they have improved those amp simulations with version 2. So you can see some different ones right here. Which is cool, of course, but the really big thing on here is that you now can use neural amp modelers within the Lava Studio, and you have access to Tone 3000, which is, I think, the biggest website where you can download different captures of different amps. And you can do all of that within the Lava Studio. So we can, for example, go to this one right here, and we just played something that was a Tone King Imperial, and we can now choose like a real capture of that. And you can also use that amp capture with different IRs. You can choose between different ones right here, and you can also load in your own favorite IRs. That is really cool. I was not able to do it on this beta version of Lava Studio, but I'm sure they have fixed that in the final version. So that's also really cool. And if you want to go amp shopping, you just go to Discover More and import from Tone 3000, and you can go amp shopping. Basically, yesterday I was able to find my favorite, the Ampeg VT40 or a Ampeg V2, just with searching right here, and it's free, and you can find everything inside of Tone 3000. And there's always something new that will be uploaded right there. I bet you can request stuff as well. So we can save that, and let's check out another feature which is within the MiniDaw. I want to test that guitar tone against the real tone that I'm trying to emulate, which is the Queens of the Stone Age sound. So let's do a AI stem isolation. You can load in a song and it will create stems for you, basically. So I have uploaded a song to the lava cloud, and I can find that right here. The sky is falling. Okay, so now we have all the tracks. Let's listen to the vocals. The sky is falling. Sounds about right. And the guitars. Sounds a bit processed, but that's how it is with stem splitting. For the sake of copyright, I've removed the vocals and I've also removed the guitars so we can try to replace them. So let's add a new track and give it a go. And we can try to double track that. I'm going to use the same guitar sound though. I'm not trying to go that deep. That sounds really good in my opinion, and it's quite fun to do, and you learn, of course, how to tweak guitar sounds, but also to play the parts right. You can listen to them. They sound pretty good when they are split with the Lava AI. And by the way, it was within the MiniDaw that I made that song that you heard in the intro. I made the drum track on my Mac and I put that on Lava Cloud. And I imported that using this, I believe. No, but you can add a groove from within the Lava Studio as well. I was adding from Lava Cloud. I think it was this one. You get it like this and you can add a new track. And you can see basically how I recorded that. I think the tempo was 120 or 100 if we want the metronome to follow correctly. Let's move that right there. And let's turn on that one. Let's see. It is a fun way to record. It is not as functional as Pro Tools or Logic, but I will talk more about that at the end of this video. On this page right here, we can connect stuff with Bluetooth. I've used my phone a lot and to use Spotify on my phone and practice with songs on Spotify. I've been trying to learn Don't Stop Believing by Journey. That is really useful to be able to connect it with Bluetooth. I've also used this as my Bluetooth speaker in my studio. You also have apps. So I did install Spotify directly on the Lava Studio if you don't want to connect anything with Bluetooth. So you can, basically install that directly on this unit. On the Lava Plus side, you have a lot of backing tracks, and this is where I should spend most of my time with the Lava Studio, because I definitely need to do some practicing with my improv. You can just listen to them. Press use and you can see all the chord changes right here, and you can also record the loop or what you are playing. This right here is just very helpful for your playing, and even though I would say that most of the songs on here, the backing tracks, aren't necessarily my style of music, I just find that any one of them is super fun to play with, and it really helps my improv stuff. And you can also go to lessons right here. I've only checked out the ones about the Lava Studio itself, but there seems to be some really good lessons on there that you can watch. If you want to go beyond that, you can go to this, and there's a YouTube app also on the Lava Studio where you can find basically everything. On this page, you can share and download presets. Of course, the heart of the whole thing is on the sounds. This is where you create your presets, where you try all the amps and the different pedals. So let's create a new one. And of course, Drive. I find it funny that the clone is called Silver Horsey and it's a gold horsey. And of course, we can use the neural amps, or we can try to find a new one on here. Try the Victory Kraken. And right here, I think you are supposed to be able to preview the different captures. That is not working at the moment, but I'm guessing that they have fixed that for the full version. But if we click done, it should be loading. Yeah, I didn't like that one, but there are tons of amps to explore on the Tone 3000 site. Okay, I think it's time to look at the pros and cons of the Lava Studio and also considering the new software. And luckily, I find it much more easy to be a bit harsh with the cons, because you can always fix things with software. Because I think the unit itself, like having this style of amp with a speaker, and you have the iPad basically on top, or the tablet, and all the features, I really like that. So most of the things that I will pick on right now, that is software based. And the first thing is that I find it a bit slow to react to the touch. And I have been watching some demos of this from the release, and it seems to be working snappier back then. So I'm guessing that it's probably the beta software that I'm on that is a bit slower. It's not super slow, but especially on the amps, when you are turning knobs, I think it's reacting just a tiny bit slow. So I wish that could be better. And there are some bugs in the beta, at least. Like I said, when you are going between the amps, you are not able to preview the sounds. Maybe you need to actually load them in to be able to hear them, but it would be nice to be able to go between them. And right now it seems like we have another bug on screen, which happens sometimes. And yeah, it's not responding. Now it's responding. So stuff like that can definitely be improved. And effects has stopped working. Not sure what's going on now. Seems like we have to reboot, and that happens from time to time. And we are up and running again. Another thing that I have in my notes, I wish it was easier to balance the volume between the loops, for example, or the jam tracks, and your guitar signal. You can turn up and down the volume of the jam track right here. But to be able to control the volume on your guitar, I think you need to go into your preset basically and change stuff in there. You need to go in here. And I also think that the output isn't necessarily working as it should. I'm not getting enough adjustment from the output. So I'm guessing that it might be a bug on this one as well. But yeah, it would be cool to be able to control the volume on your guitar easier compared to the backing tracks, or if you are running something through Bluetooth from your phone, so you can balance between them. I might have missed something important within the Lava Studio, but yeah, nothing that I've tried has sort of fixed that. So I wish that you could do that more easily. Should be an easy fix. And the last con before we move into the pros, if you listen to the new Universal Audio plugins or the John Mayer plugin, not sure who made that, but they seem to have fixed that top end gisel harshness, which is often coming from plugin guitar sounds or software guitar sounds. I wish that Lava maybe looked into that. I think that the Universal Audio and the John Mayer plugin did it too much. I'm not sure what they did, but they seem like they did this massive shave off of the top end, which makes it a lot more pleasing to listen to. I was having problem getting enough treble and presence from those plugins, but I think there are, with some of the amps on here, there is some harshness in the top end that I wish that I was able to control even more. So I wish that maybe for a future software update, we could see something like that, and possibly something that we could control even more. That would be cool. That being said, I think this is a really fun and practical guitar device to have. When I first got it, I was super skeptical, like honestly. And I did start to do the review without having the access to the new beta software. So the sounds were not as good back when I started. But then I got the beta, the sounds improved a lot. And I really mean by a lot, with the neural amp captures. So it sounds really good. And the MiniDaw is intuitive and fun. It's sort of like a gateway into recording. It is for me a bit limiting because I've been using Pro Tools and Logic for 15 plus years, and you don't have a lot of plugins. There's not that much you can do, but to import a groove or a drum track as I did and to record, that is very helpful for you as a guitar player, even if you are a beginner, intermediate, or pro. I guess if you are a pro, you have moved on to something better in terms of DAW. But that is really fun. The jam tracks are, as I said, amazing. I know that you, of course, you have good jam tracks on YouTube, but it's nice to have it like in this complete package. That's probably where I've spent the most time after getting this. That has been playing like cheesy fusion stuff, even though that's not my thing at all. I find it super helpful for my playing because I have a lot of learning to do when it comes to improv stuff. And I think I've said with all of the reviews that I've done of similar stuff to this, I really like having the option to use Bluetooth and just use it as a Bluetooth speaker, because the sounds coming from this on its own, they are really good, and it fills this room at least, which is a fairly big sized room. I like to play along with songs, and it's nice to have the Spotify app within there. I prefer to use my phone when I want to play together with songs, but it's super nice to have on there. So there you have it, the Lava Studio with the new software. I think it's a great unit. Definitely there can be improvements to the software, and I'm guessing that they are working at that continuously. I'm hoping that they are, because when you spend that amount of money on something like this, you definitely deserve to have the best software on it. And of course that you get improvements over time. Okay, thank you for watching and goodbye.